Hi, everybody. Good evening. In fact, a very, very good evening because I don't really know how your day has been. So I'd like to at least, send in like the good vibe and make sure that whatever it is, at least post 7 p.m., you of course have a good day. Before we begin with whatever it is that we have, please let me know, am I audible? क्या आप लोगों को सुनाई दे रहा है? If you could just write in the chat box, it will be of immense help to me. And with that, we can begin with our power-packed session. But of course, I will quickly take a moment to go check if all is set in place, and then is when we begin. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Can you please give me a confirmation in the chat box if I am audible? If I could just have this audibility check, maybe a thumbs up or anything is going to work in case I am. If I'm not, please do write it on the chat box so that I can quickly troubleshoot the problem that is there. So I'll just check. Right then, okay. So now that I'm absolutely audible, let us first set the tone for what is it that we are going to be doing today. Now, I have not come up with something which is magical. In fact, I have come to be able to help you streamline. So how am I going to streamline is, I have dug into a variety of mocks. In fact, variety is not the perfect word, I guess. Truckloads of mocks. So I had since the past 2 days just submerged myself, ने drown कर लिया था अपने आप को इतने सारे mocks में, just to be able to see what is the recurring trend. That is, if you are at that juncture wherein you just want to revise a little bit because it's almost there. The examination, the first round of examination is right around the corner. So if you are there and that you don't know what to focus on and that maybe a couple of your topics still remain but you still don't know कि क्या वो topics important है examination के perspective से कि नहीं, here is where I might be helpful. So my intent of today's video of course is just to be able to, like I said, get your act together at this point of time and right before the exam. ये सबके साथ होता है. We are all over the place. हमें समझ में नहीं आता ये पढ़ ले कितना भी पढ़ ले लगता है नहीं पढ़ा है और पढ़ने के बाद भी वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आता है. So if you just want to press the pedal for that one last time, go completely, go full throttle, go all blazing on the topics and want clarity कि भाई जो भी हो कम से कम मेरे ये टॉपिक्स द बैक ऑफ माई हैंड मुझे आने चाहिए क्योंकि ये टॉपिक्स तो क्यूली को बहुत पसंद है. The Christ University is in love with these topics. So, of course, that's going to be the kind of stuff that you want to be well versed with. So, like I said, it's taken me a lot of effort to be able to compile because to go through the mocks, to set a pattern, एक अच्छे से उसको एक trajectory बनाना, anticipation में रहना, it takes a little bit of time and effort. So, I hope this effort of mine comes in handy to you guys. आपके लिए कम से कम वो fruitful तो रहे. And that if you are even a tad bit wavered, अगर लग रहा है कि I'm like still confused and I don't know कि मुझे कहाँ से उसको क्या करना है, watch this video and I'm sure it's going to do some good to you. And having said all of that, let us begin with what is it that we have. We are going to do some last minute topic updates. That is, ये चीजें पढ़ लेनी है. A good idea is sit with a pen and paper because you might want to jot it down, or of course it's available on YT after we finish with this. एंड बट बार बार उसको रिवाइंड करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. सो एज मच एज जो भी आपके पास बुक है उसके कंटेंट्स के पेज कोई खोल लो जस्ट टू बी एबल टू हाईलाइट और मेक अ टिक अराउंड इट कि अच्छा ये मुझे पढ़ना है या ये मुझे बहुत अच्छे से रिवाइज करना है. सो विद दैट लेट अस बिगिन. नाउ फर्स्ट थिंग्स फर्स्ट, ऑफ कोर्स एक बार हम लोग क्वेश्चन पेपर को देख लेते हैं. द टोटल नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दैट आर गोइंग टू बी आस्क्ड इज गोइंग टू बी 120. द ड्यूरेशन दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट इज गोइंग टू बी 90 minutes. Which means आपको बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान से and बहुत strategically करना पड़ेगा. You don't have a lot of time. You don't have 2 hours to yourself. You have only 90 minutes, which is 1.5 hours. In that, you'll have to attempt 120 questions. So, it's barely 1 minute per question. So with this 45 seconds that you are allowed to spend per question, your mind has to, run 1,000 miles. You have to be maybe 2 questions ahead of what you're solving in your mind अगर आपको सच में पेपर सॉल्व करना है. एंड क्यूली का कट ऑफ ऐसा जाता है, reputed college hai, everybody wants to go. Bangalore is a crazy city that ways, land of opportunities. And of course, I mean, after I think the nationals, if there are private colleges that really come up to that rank, of course, the Christ University is one of the most coveted of the lot. So ये तो हमें निकालना ही निकालना है. And examination को निकालना is going to be the first step. So we have talked about this previously also when I did my interview videos and the SAT videos. So I told you ये तो pre qualifier है, but जब तक ये नहीं करेंगे कुछ और नहीं होगा. So here strategy matters, right? The mode of course is going to be offline but computer based, which means you'll have to go to the center of course and give it. The marking is going to be +1 for correct answers and -2.5 for wrong answers. अब फनी पार्ट ये है कि दिखने में 0.25 बहुत छोटा सा लगता है, but actually for every 0.25 you lose 1.25. Why? Because आपको वो एक नंबर भी तो नहीं मिला ना जो मिलना चाहिए था. So if you attempt 2 questions and आपका एक गलत हुआ और एक सही हुआ, आपका टोटल स्कोर 2 में से 0.75 रहता है. So गलत करना तो बहुत बड़ी आफत की बात होती है, which is why you have to be very careful. And this is for all negative examination. I mean, examinations that carry negative marking. Now, section and the time allotment. Now, again, the way we have demarcated is language and comprehension जो हमारा रहता है उसमें 30 questions होते हैं. मोटा मोटा आप you can afford to give about 25 to 30 minutes. Again, please understand guys, this is something I say in every video of mine and that is to each his own. आप इधर से information लो, but of course जो download होगा आपका जिस तरीके से आप उसको करोगे वो आपका हिसाब होगा. In that you're not going to copy or you're not going to start dittoing whatever I'm saying. Don't Xerox it. थोड़ा सा उसको customize करो, tailor fit it to your accord and then use it. That's where the strategy will work the best for you. But if you try to implement किसी और की अपने ऊपर ऐसे थोप लेंगे और करेंगे तो it will not happen. So please make sure that that is something you're being very wary of. Right? We then have, of course, GK and current affairs, about 30 questions again. The amount of time that you're expected to spend is anywhere between 10 to 12 minutes. We then have reasoning, which is 25 questions. Again, you can give anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes. You have DI, which is about 20 questions, anywhere between 15 to 20. And then we have the current affairs, which will also take into account the CLK, which is current legal knowledge. Anywhere about 5 to 7 minutes is what you can expect. The number of questions that you have are 15. Now, again, this is mota, right? This is again something that I'm saying that this is the extent to which we can go. If you are finishing it earlier, good for you. In fact, you should. So this is like this is the highest, or this is the most amount of time that you can spend. Nothing more than this. Anything more than this is criminal. आप कर नहीं सकते. ये तो बहुत ही गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. But anything less than this, yes, you might just want to attempt it. Now, let's very quickly see what's hot. Now, this is a condensed form of all of the question papers that I have been able to review, which have been quite a handful. Well, that's a guarantee you can get from me. So, अगर focus करना है, तो कहां से और कितने नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस को एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो कि आएगा. अगेन गाइस, these figures are not true to their picture, they are anticipated. So इसमें हमने लगाया. अब आपके पास जब इंग्लिश का सेक्शन आएगा 30, so obviously first attempt will be मुझे 30 पे 30 चाहिए. पर अगर मुझे 30 पे 30 नहीं भी चाहिए तो मुझे ये पता है कि मुझे 30 में 25 तो चाहिए ना, मुझे 24 तो चाहिए ना, और उसको मुझे पुश करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, इन टॉपिक्स पे कंसंट्रेट करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दीज टॉपिक्स विल सीक सो मेनी क्वेश्चंस मिनिमम. इतना मिनिमम आएगा ही आएगा. सो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन बैंक ऑन योर स्कोर्स. यू कैन बी वेरी श्योर कि अच्छा ये हो गया सॉर्टेड तो ये मेरा हो जाएगा. इसके बाद कुछ भी डूजी क्वेश्चंस भी आ सकते हैं. देयर कैन ऑफ कोर्स बी गूगलीज कमिंग इन जो हमें पता ही नहीं चलता कहां से आ जाती, बस ऐसे पड़ जाती है. So there always has to be room for surprise. But this is room for surety that we seem to be talking. Reading comprehension of course आएगा, जिसमें mostly आपके factual या inference based questions आएंगे. So please make sure आप अपने इन दोनों question stems को तगड़ा कर ले रहे हो, बहुत ही ज्यादा. Vocabulary, of course, there's going to be synonyms, antonyms, and idioms. प्लीज मेक श्योर आप दिन के कम से कम हाई फ्रीक्वेंसी वर्ड्स और idioms को रटना चालू कर दे रहे हो. आई नो अब मगअप इज नॉट अ वेरी गुड थिंग दैट वी ऑलवेज टॉक अराउंड, बट for this examination it might just come in handy. So high frequency words are going to be the kind of words जो popularly बहुत ज्यादा हम लोग use करते हैं. Please make sure that that is something that you tend to use. Grammar and sentence correction आएगा आपके पास, which is going to take into account the common errors. Common errors का मतलब होता है 4 topics grammar के by heart कर लो, literally by heart कर लो. What are they going to be? Subject verb agreement, which is called SVA. Subject pronoun agreement, फट से कर लो इसको भी. Prepositions and conjunction कर लो. Tenses में टॉपिक आता है conditional, conditional कर लो, और इसके साथ साथ parallelism and modifier. Of course I want you to do all, but अगर आपको देखना है कि आपके सारे निकल जाए, because see बाकी error detections के साथ क्या होता है, the sound rule, whatever sounds good to the ear is good English, चल जाता है. ये थोड़े से अड़ियल है. These are a little frisky ones. With these you might not know whether it's going to be the right statement that is sounding right, or is it the wrong statement that is sounding right. So that fish will be for you to fry. We then get on to parajumbles and logical arrangement. Of course, PJs आपको करनी पड़ेंगे. Mandatory pairs के rules को रट लो and practice it. Practice it so much that you know. Error spotting, sentence improvement. Of course, that's also going to be something that you'll have to do. अगर grammar में इतना कर लोगे तो sentence improvement and error spotting अधिकतर हद तक हो जाएगी. Level is going to be moderate. English में याद रखना, English की tendency होती है फंसाने की. It swoops you in. It's like a Bermuda Triangle because we feel आ रहा है, आ रहा है, आ रहा है, आ रहा है. But please guys, English में smart work. Word का मतलब नहीं आता, फट से आगे बढ़ो. Come back. But आगे बढ़ो. You don't have the time to, give. There is no dedication over there that they're going to see कि कितना हम लोग डटे हुए हैं वहाँ पे. वहाँ वो लोग देखेंगे ये कि how smartly are you able to. And कभी-कभी कुछ ऐसे खराब words देते हैं. You see the words and you want to get very angry कि क्या है ये? कैसे words ये? Because they want to make sure that you are irritated now. अभी क्या कर रहे हैं वो लोग, आपको आपके कंफर्ट जोन से हटा रहे हैं. अब एग्जाम का माहौल ऑलरेडी टेंशन वाला, ऊपर से ऐसे वर्ड्स, पता नहीं क्या कर रहे हैं. ऑलरेडी फ्यूचर की टेंशन पहले से होने लगती है एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में. सो क्लेवरली व्हाट दे डिड वाज, इन लोगों ने स्मार्टली आपके सारे किए कराए पे पानी फेर दिया. सो इट इज यू हु हैज टू मेक श्योर दैट you wear your anchors and go. So don't get perturbed by anything. Please focus on the smart work. Now, GK में what are going to be the kinds of things? Of course, static GK से expect कर लो कि भाई 10 से 12, 10 से 15 के बीच में questions आ सकते हैं. History, geography, polity, science and awards. Make sure that you know of these at least. Current affairs में it's going to be national, international news, government policy, sports and economy. Best thing to do is revise the last 6 months news and key facts daily. I'm sure by now आपके पास आपका खुद का एक compendium होगा, wherein you must be jotting down all important happenings that have taken place. Please make sure that those are something that you have put to right place. Level again moderate आएगा, but GK is highly scoring. So aim for the accurate ones. Reasoning. Now, when it comes to reasoning, you've got verbal reasoning, you've got analytical reasoning, and legal reasoning is also a part of reasoning itself. Right? So, इसी में आ जाएगा. कितना होगा जो bifurcation होगा marks का, that we don't know, but इसी में उन 30 को ये लोग अपने हिसाब से divide कर लेंगे. Focus topics आपके क्या होंगे इसमें? Syllogisms, blood relations and puzzles. Verbal में एनालिटिकल में आप करोगे नंबर सीरीज, सीटिंग अरेंजमेंट एंड डेटा सफिशिएंसी. लीगल में अभी नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में हम लोग देखेंगे कि लीगल के लिए आपको कौन कौन सी चीजों पे ध्यान रखना है. स्ट्रैटेजी इज गोइंग टू बी, प्लीज मेक श्योर आप 5 से 7 पजल्स डेली कर रहे हो एंड फोकस करना प्लीज साइलॉग्स पे. ये गलत नहीं जाता है. यू कैन गो रॉन्ग विद दिस सेक्शन. सो हियर द अमाउंट ऑफ मार्क्स दैट यू कैन प्रोक्योर विल बी इन प्रोपोर्शनल टू द टाइम दैट यू स्पेंड. सो टाइम कम मार्क्स ज्यादा, ऐसे होगा. और इसमें श्योरिटी वाला सीन बहुत है. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट दिस इज अ वेरी पुख्ता सेक्शन. इट्स अ वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट सेक्शन फॉर यू गाइस. ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट. मैथ्स ऑफ कोर्स यू नीड टू एस द नंबर गेम, बिकॉज मैथ्स के साथ भी वही रीजनिंग वाला लॉजिक होता है. यू आर dead sure of what the answer is, and this surety will what will help you gain marks. So of course arithmetic में आपको क्या क्या focus करना होगा. Make sure your percentage, profit and loss and averages are taken care of. Algebra and geometry में probability, SICI and of course the permutations. Please make sure you're mastering all shortcuts. Revise कर लो, लिख लो कहीं पे एक बड़ा सा चार्ट पेपर लगा के आगे. You know that these are what I need to be looking for. And solve 15 quick calculations daily. Something that I always say. मम्मी को दे दो या पापा को दे दो, बोल दो 10 calculations बना दे, plus minus multiplication division, लंबे लंबे कुछ भी आड़े टेढ़े, and keep doing it in a time bound manner. Your brain will start working. So even today I count on my fingers. That's how slow I am, but we don't want you to do that. So of course उस चीज को तुम्हें better करना पड़ेगा. Okay, now when it comes to the legal reasoning bit of it, that is जो reasoning में ही legal के questions को कर देते हैं, उसमें आप क्या क्या focus करोगे? There will have to be torts, contracts and constitution. Legal GK आपके current affairs में पूछी जाएगी. So current affairs में CLK है, which is called current legal knowledge. For that, please make sure आपने landmark cases पढ़ लिए हैं और जितने recent judgments हैं. So extent इतना हो सकता है, minimum कुछ भी हो सकता है, extent ये हो सकता है. So we might just want to be secure at least, you know, like we are taking care of that phase. Difficulty level is going to be moderate. Read legal news and memorize the key maxims, please. Maxims are going to be legal terminology, so हमारी होती जो Latin phrases होते, please make sure आराम से उसको किया हुआ है. Now, what are the last minute prep strategies जो आपको करनी है? Beginning with RC and comprehension obviously better करना है, क्योंकि comprehension powers बढ़िया नहीं होगा तो पूरा पेपर गया. The entire paper is doomed. It will tank. So which is why you're going to make sure that you're reading the Hindu and the Indian Express editorials. This is something that I have forever been emphasizing on. You have to practice infra-based questions, which are the most scoring of the lot. High frequency words कम से कम आप 500 total में revise करोगे, which means divide it with the number of days that you have and you would know. Master idioms and phrases 20 per day के हिसाब से target बना लो कि इतना तो मुझे करना ही है. Right? Grammar में हम लोगों ने बताया था tenses revise कर लो, conditional articles and SVA, and of course the topics that I also mentioned. Solve 10 error spottings daily so that सारी ही spottings mostly हो जाए and you know what it is trying to be talking about. This, of course, the most valued, the most valued advice. Mock test देना है, time management please अपना देखना. Attempt 3 mocks, full mocks, and focus on accuracy more and less of speed. It's not the number of questions that you solve, it's always the number of questions that you solve correctly that tends to matter. Okay, now something that I have thought a little different, which might come in handy for you guys. How should you go ahead with the paper? Again, please, this is only a prediction. This is only something that I'm extending as of help, but it's not necessary that you have to, you know, be like glued to this. But a 30-minute game plan can be, what are you going to do? Make sure that you solve English and GK first. With this, what will happen is, number of questions आपके ज़्यादा attempt हो जाएंगे and GK कम time लेता है, तो वो buffer की तरह काम कर जाता है. तो अगर मैंने सोचा था कि मेरे को 30 minutes देने हैं for English, एंड वो 25 मिनट में हो गया, तो 5 मिनट यहाँ से बचा, और जीके बस 5 और मिनट या 7 और मिनट लेगा, which means by the time I'm on my 37th minute I finish 2 sections. So एक heavy section के साथ हमेशा एक ऐसा section add करना which is going to get you good number of attempts. Accuracy will be focused, but accuracy तो तभी आएगी ना ultimately जब आपने attempt किया होगा. So they both go hand in glove, right? So they're like bread and butter. They cannot be separated in any manner. So you will have to make sure that you tend to play smart. Attempt legal reasoning next. It is the highest accuracy section. Legal reasoning को second, legal reasoning as in of course the reasoning bit of it, but you can also handpick. अभी क्या करते हैं कुछ लोग? Some people handpick what they like. So legal reasoning can be one of the things, but you can also go to reasoning. Reasoning में दिमाग का चलना बहुत जरूरी है. जब आप पेपर सॉल्व करने बैठते हो ना, तब दिमाग इतनी हाई स्पीड में नहीं चल रहा होता है. It takes a little bit of time. So of course what we can do is इसको हटा के हम लोग इसको पूरा कर देते हैं. You then attempt the reasoning section. Some people, like I said guys, please know, handpick करते हैं अपने questions को. कुछ लोग पूरे section को एक बार में करते हैं. Mathematics in the end, of course, use shortcuts, avoid time traps. Avoid all of that and then go ahead. Time management हमारा कैसा रहेगा? It is going to be, of course, GK and English, which will take about 30 minutes is what we are thinking. बाद में देखेंगे कैसा. Legal reasoning, your CLK or the whole of reasoning can be about 25 minutes. You can then have your CLK that remains, which is going to be, of course, an added section to the reasoning bit, and ultimately आप उसको maths में कर सकते हो. Ultimate payoffs that I always try to buck up and end my sessions with. The hard work will pay off, but the smart work wins the game. Always remember, आपने बहुत मेहनत की होगी अभी तक, I'm very sure. But अगर आपकी मेहनत systematically utilize होके दिख नहीं रही, if it is not coming out, then what is the whole point of doing something like that? So please make sure that your hard work is important, but it is time for smart work now. So strategize as much as you can. At this point of time in the mocks, it is all about your strategy. Pump up with study jams. Please make sure that in shorter sprints you study. हर पढ़ाई को जो आप करोगे time bound करो. CULEE is not an extensive paper जिसमें आप खूब time लेके चल सकते हो. You have to be smarter with the time that will come. So make sure आप study jams रखो अपने. Own the paper, don't let it own you. Now this is the most important motivational line. पेपर को आप पे हावी मत होने देना, आप पेपर पे हावी रहना. ये कैसे होगा? जब तक आपका confidence, the more grounded you are, the more likely it is that you will know. एक दो चीजें आप ऐसे भी कर सकते हो. Some external things like just go and visit your test area. It might just help you to absorb that place and know what it is likely to be about. Right? You've done the hard work. Now go claim your seat at Christ. You've got this. Let's make history, guys. And with that, of course, thank you so much. This was my attempt to help you guys come one step closer to, of course, the goal that you have, which is of Christ University. I hope this information has come in handy. At least you have the topics to yourself, which you know you have to study. Again, like I said, and I quote, this is not the ultimate game planner. This is just a shrunk version of what is anticipated. इन पे फोकस करोगे तो अपनी नैया पार होनी है. पर ध्यान से फोकस करना, ये नहीं कि कैसे भी कर दे है. Time is going to be both your friend and your enemy in the paper, because we only have 90 minutes unlike the other papers. So CULEE is a little hostile that way. But if you play well with your 90 minutes, of course, it is going to be of all of the advantage to you. I hope this information, in fact, all of the information that I dispensed has been useful to you. If there's any more video that you want me to come around with, which is going to help you, please do write in the chat box. If you agree with the fact that, yes, CULEE is all about strategy and time and less about hard work, please do write something in the chat box so that I know that you've also understood what is it that I'm trying to be putting forward. If you like this video, please please hit the like. Share it with your friends, the like-minded friends who are all preparing for the examination. And together, let's crack the CULEE exam. Thank you so much, everybody.